my Reds, welcome, 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 and welcome to those that aren't Reds as well. Hello to you as well. Definitely enjoy this episode. Hopefully you will, because we've got a pretty cool little episode lined up. We're going to even bring up, we kind of we hashed out basically the team that we were working on yesterday. We originally we were in the 4-4-2, and then we ended up going into a 4-5-1, and next thing you know, it's a 4-2-3-1. It was an interesting little journey.
Systems, systems, it's the players that count, isn't it? Exactly. But it was entertaining to look for it, do it when we were picking the 4-4-2 style. Sort of, thinking of a bit more like the old days of an actual partnership up front, a double act, with wingers.
I mean, that used to be the go-to. That was like basically the staple was the 4-4-2 back in the day. Because growing up, it was a left center half and a right center half, basically.
Yeah. I mean, Liverpool always used it in Europe, but foreign teams would have different formations. But we were sound with 4-4-2, and Kenny used to drop quite deep as well. Kenny started in midfield. A Heysel, it was Russian Walsh up front with Kenny behind them.
It was definitely fun to do. It was difficult though. It was difficult to get the names or get the right names into the right places, I guess you could say, because I know there are a lot of suggestions, and there are a lot of people vying for this player to be there and that player to be there. And I told you we didn't even get off the broadcast, and there was already someone being like, "Where's Messi?" or "Where's Ronaldo?"
Yeah, I think it was a smart move to leave our players out. We could give them a shout and talk about them, but I didn't want to put any of our players in it. Just wanted to pick, from different players like that you've admired over the years.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun little romp through memory lane. Got to talk about some. Even the selection of the combined 11 was fun, but even talking about some of the teams that entertained us back in the day.
Well, there was no Man United players anywhere near the side, and even in the discussion, was that? There just weren't anyways.
No way. Was I ever going to put a red devil over a red into that lineup? That wasn't going down on my watch. Shout out to Cedric. Big up Cedric. Big up to Nems LFC. Big up. Big up to I said hello to everyone else in the chat. I guess we're going to get into some good stuff. It was a good show yesterday. Hopefully we can back that up with another good show today. Are you? Hopefully you're good too. By the way, Lee, I didn't get a chance to ask you how you're doing.
I'm fine, Fattle. Eagerly awaiting the restart of the club football.
Okay.
See if we can get going. Forest, Dyche back in town. We know what he's about, style-wise, and we have to be ready for it. I mean, Arne will know as well. Even though Dyche had left Everton when Arne.
I hope he would. I don't think Dyche wasn't in the league last year, right?
No, Moyes replaced him at Everton, and he didn't. He wasn't there, was he? Until he gave hands to boot at Forest.
Yeah, so he hasn't faced him mano a mano just yet. But shout out to Norm. Big up Norm in the house. I don't think he was in the league yet. So this will be his first time actually facing him.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
He should be fully aware of this Dyche's. I mean, he'll have watched Forest since Dyche. He'll watch videos, so you'll know what to expect.
I was going to say before I was going to say before we get into tactics, but I'll get into a quick synopsis of tactics real quick. question then. Our matchup against him, against Dyche, are you looking at, should we go into this trying to adapt our team to go up against his style? Or should we go into this game and just say, you know what, we're just going to bring our normal, whatever it is going to be our normal 11, but you know what I mean by we're going to bring our style of football and you'll just have to adjust to us.
Yeah.
Which do you think it's going to be? It's a good question, I guess. got you there.
Yeah, sorry, what was it? I was doing something there.
Oh, no worries. I was just talking about like tactics and this and that, but I was
tactics for the Forest match.
Yeah, like as in if we should adjust for them or should we just have them have to adjust?
Yeah, they can adjust to us. You know what I mean? We won't worry too much about their foot. Just whatever he wants to do, whatever he thinks will get the points, I'll be happy with. He knows more than we do, doesn't he? He's the manager. So whatever he decides on, hopefully it works.
I see Semenyo, the question by Nems was, is the panel happy that we're going to be going for Semenyo? It's a good question, to be honest with you.
Well,
are you?
Article at the moment, isn't he? You get that in the league, clubs lower down, or clubs of a smaller stature, and they get a load of good players. They've already been picked clean almost, haven't they, in defence? Kappa left, bloody the whole defence apart from the right back went. They also lost Matara, didn't they? To Brentford, because Brentford got Matara as a replacement for Wissa.
Yep. Yeah,
and they got Doak, didn't they? But if he's doing well, he's had a really good start to the season. What I would say though is about having him for the left-hand side. I'd rather have Elise. For the right-hand side, I'd rather have Elise. Maybe Semenyo on the left, coming in on his right foot, and that because he's dangerous there. But I'd like Elise as a replacement for Salah.
Yeah. You know what? Is this going to sound weird too, though? Because sometimes when you're hashing out your thoughts online, it's probably not the safest place to do it. But you know what? But I don't know. I'd love to see Elise. If we were able to get Elise, fantastic. We already did an episode yesterday and the day before, or not yesterday, 2 days before.
What it is for me with Elise over Semenyo is Elise's been doing it longer. He's been at a higher level for longer.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. But what I was going to say is, and I'd love to hear the chat's opinion, especially Norm, who's like you said, who's seen some of these formations in practice, as well as everyone else in the chat. Would you be against it? Just hear me out. Would you be against if we were to not go for a Elise or a Semenyo, but if we were to maybe go for focus on someone like a Baleba, or focus in on bringing in a Wharton, or focus in on bringing some defensive midfielders or some to round off our midfield. And why I'm saying that and suggesting that is this: by doing so, we could go with a 4-4-2 and be able to, in essence, somewhat eliminate our need for trying to replace Salah. We'd utilize Salah while we have him. I'm not saying that get rid of him simply just to go into a 4-4-2 next season, or if not this season. But could you get behind that concept? Rather than try to go for Semenyo.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
I always said that replacing him would be more of a it wouldn't be like a direct one for one replacement, maybe, but the attack itself, the other players in the attack can help, replace him, the whole attack. But like, I can't see it changing anytime soon. That, you know, the way they're having like one up front, left footer on the right footer on the left. I can't see that changing anytime soon, because everybody else pretty much does that as well.
I hear you. I'm just saying, truthfully, because for how much it's going to cost to get Olise, it's going to be ridiculous. That's going to be another £100 million plus transfer or something like that. Semenyo, they're talking about 65 million or something like that. That's a healthy sounding transfer as well, you know. But I'm not saying that Baleba or even Wharton are going to be cheap. I know that as well. But if we were going to pay that kind of money or something on those lines, I would sooner rather us go for, and I'll go back into the market for Atletico Madrid's Alvarez. Bring him back to the Premier League. Have something where we can have a true rotation of center forwards up front and play with those two strikers in the front line, and then not have to worry about necessarily, if we're not going to bring out that center press, or excuse me, that front line press, then at least be fortified in our midfield to be able to shut things down with more defensive-minded players and more, players that are able to facilitate, the transfer of the ball from the back to the front. Does that sound too wild? Or tell me in the chat too if you agree on that or not. I mean, if hypothetically Salah leaves next season or something like that, who knows? Maybe we get a nice little paycheck from that. And then
this is what I think a few people are thinking: get what we can and replace him with Olise, because we get like a large portion of the Olise fee probably for Salah if if we got it right. Like obviously, he's getting older now, isn't he? But he'll still be very much wanted in Saudi, I would imagine, and there'll be a couple of clubs probably. I don't think Salah is mentally ready to do that, though. I don't think he's like. He's still got like an awful lot of the season to go when he comes. He's got a few games now, then he goes to AFCON and he comes back, So, it's not over yet for him. It's just like the team's been performing poorly and we've been losing a lot of games, and he's looked a bit shit, but he's not the only one, mate. You know what I mean? It's unfair to like heap too much on him, because I think he's still got like assists and goals in him in this season before the end of the season.
I see Lee talking more, and definitely Lee. Definitely take care of yourself, Lee. It's not an easy thing to do. I know the process myself. I'm speaking from a place of sympathy, not just empathy. So definitely take care of yourself, my brother. All right, well then let's start with a little bit of emotion rather than tactics. Let's switch up the gears. We can go back to tactics in a bit, but let's go with some emotion. Let's go with some true red pride here. Talk about, maybe even we're talking about Mo Salah, so let's talk about legacies, maybe, if you want to go that far. Moments that define players forever type situation. Because this past week, in the chaos of a season where our Reds have been pretty much punched up, rattled, doubted, dragged through the mud, all the above, right? Some of our own went out on the world stage and reminded everyone what it means to wear the Liverbird. And what I mean by that is Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk, Cody Hakpo, Florian Wirtz, Connor Bradley, the kids, the future, everything was on display this past 2 weeks with the international games that we saw. And tonight we're going to honor what they did somewhat over this past break. Hopefully it can correlate into some Liverpool promise and fortune. But let's just dive right into what it is that I wanted to start off. And what I wanted to start off was talking about emotion. I wanted to talk about Andy Robertson's night of destiny, and I'll give you a World Cup roundup as well, because there are a few moments that shake you up, and moments where you forget the tactics, forget the system, forget the spreadsheets, blah blah blah. Even myself, I even forget the stats sometimes. And now you feel football again. You feel like, oh, I'm into this. I'm into this, right? Well, Andy Robertson gave us one of those nights. Scotland won their game 4-2 over Denmark. World Cup dream sealed in stoppage time. For the first time since 1998, Scotland are going to the World Cup. And the man carrying the weight of a nation, our vice captain on the left side, Andy Robertson.
Yeah.
So
go for Robbo, go for Scotland. Pleased about it. Pleased about Ireland too. Like shame for Szoboszlai, but it's good to have,
I don't know if you saw the game or not. I got to catch the last parts of it. Then I watched some of it on the highlights. But if you watched Robbo after the whistle, he was in tears. Like, he was shaking with emotion. Like, this wasn't just a qualification. This was Robbo playing for something bigger than football, I think. And that's sometimes I get people don't necessarily want to always relate the football romanticism of it all and everything else. I think when you disconnect that portion of the game, then you really don't do yourself a service. You do yourself a disservice, actually, in really understanding what makes the game really have like life in itself. But Robbo said this. I'm gonna see if I can make sure I get his quote correct. He said, "I've hit it well, but today I've been in bits. I couldn't get my mate Diego Jota out of my head." That line choked me like that. That's difficult for me even repeat. Because I know people have been talking about, I saw content creators talk about, it's been months since Jota's passing. I don't understand why I don't understand why people would even bring it up or do this or does that. And I'm like, it could be years. When a person is relevant, when a person is a part of your family, part of your life, there is no expiration date or time limit on when and where and when it's going to be relevant to you. And I think that hit deep for me as a Liverpool supporter, because even I think about it. Robbo and Jota shared a dream. They were both hoping to go to a World Cup, possibly together in a sense. And Jota missed out on going in 2022 because of an injury. Robbo missed out because Scotland didn't go. And here is an opportunity for two teams to go into the World Cup. And his friend isn't there. And that is relevant. I think people out there, it's getting me a little choked up here, but I think people out there have to recognize, some of our content creators, some of the people in the chats, not this chat. I'm not talking about I love our community, because our community has empathy, sympathy. It's a fantastic community. And I'm hoping that it can be, passed on to other chats and other channels out there when you're amongst those chats, because realistically, there is no time limit on grieving. There is no time limit in remembrance. And having people automatically look, it's supposed to be, you're using it as an excuse or this, that. No, it's a reality. To me, it's a relevant thing that I'm not going to allow for someone to cheapen or someone to dismiss. because he's a part of our lives and he was a special person in our lives. And when you hear that kind of stuff, I think it cheapens it. And I just can't get over that portion. But before I get all choked up and get all too emotional, do you want to say something, Lee? Did you want to add something?
Who was it who said they thought about Jota? I missed who it was you mentioned.
Oh, Robbo. Robbo's quote was, "I've hit it well. I've hit it well. But today I've been in bits. I couldn't get my mate Diego Jota out of my head."
Oh.
And it's
God bless him, Robbo.
Yeah, it's beautiful and touching to hear.
Yeah. It is, because like we haven't forgot about Diogo, like, but we've put it to one side a little bit, haven't we? Like now, but yeah, it must still be occasionally, like, with all the players, I suppose the ones who maybe were closest to him and talked to him the most, they feel it the most, because he was a quiet bloke, wasn't he? He was really quiet and that, and like, you never knew like anything about his personal life or that. It was only when that happened that I found out, he had a family even. I didn't know that before.
Yeah.
Not about him, because he was that quiet. That's the way he liked it. Didn't like much of a profile. But it's a sad one, like, isn't it, for some of the players? I just hope you can, deal with it and hopefully use it as a bit of motivation sometimes. Mourinho said that. It was really nice what Mourinho said in his eulogy. He said they had a player at Porto, a young lad who dies in a car crash, and the following season, he said it was emotional, but we won the league for him, sort of thing. Now we might not be winning the league for Diogo this year, but next time we win it, we'll have him in mind.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, I'm hoping that we can, honor his name. We honor his name every time you take the pitch. Every time you hear the crowd, sing his name, sing his song in the 20th minute. There's so many different ways that we represent for the player that is still in our hearts and will always be in our hearts. So rest in peace to number 20 for sure. But Robbo didn't fold. Led Scotland, fought well in the game, had an assist, I believe, in the game too. Captained the team to a miracle, some are saying, because some didn't have Scotland making it into the World Cup. And let's be honest, Scotland, some had them, being possibly, catching the short end of the stick. But I'm going to run down the rest of the World Cup qualifiers, or the roundup at least. Cody and Virgil van Dijk. Let me say this. Holland has qualified. Cody had a goal and an assist. Virgil van Dijk had an historic record taken on, and it was the fact that he has now had 72 caps as the Netherlands captain. Actually, a creep. We're going to talk about that in a second. Just hold that. Put a pin in that one real quick, because Florian Wirtz also great game for him yesterday. Ended up watching that game. It was a really good affair for him. 2 assists and a 6-0 demolish. It was definitely not a competition. Look, they were being outplayed in that matchup all day. But Florian looked reborn. He looked sharp. He looked like the Wirtz that we wanted to see when we signed him. I'm excited. Hopefully that can translate into something for us this weekend. It depends on, again, what our coach does. If he recognizes how and what the German team does to get him rocking and rolling, maybe, this is just my suggestion, maybe take a page out of their book and incorporate it in ours. But that's just me. Anyway, Maradashvili, standout, had some standout saves and a tough loss, but was still a good night for him. Endo had 90 minutes, controlled the match versus Bolivia. In the U19s, we had Trey and Rio. I saw Andy say that he wants to see Rio start this weekend. I don't think we're going to see that happen, but who knows? Who knows? I think there's a higher likelihood, personally, to see. I think Cody's going to start. We're going to do a preview. We're going to do some our takes on who gets the starting nods, but I think Cody's going to start. If you're going to make a switch, if you're going to make a change up in like that situation, like you're just suggesting, I think it might be a larger likelihood that Chiesa gets the nod over Rio, but Rio's not a bad shout. I understand why you're saying it, because he definitely would try to break down that low block by some talented dribbling affairs. But this break wasn't a break for our boys. It was hopefully a statement to say that they're back. I'm going to ask you a question, and this is a tough one. It's like, when you look at Andy Robertson's emotional interview, Lee, how important is it for Liverpool to have leaders who feel football at that level? Like there's some that'll give those PR, like cookie cut responses. But when you see someone breaking down and crying on TV, talking about his friend, talking about the moment, that's someone not just playing football. That's someone.
Yeah, that's just come straight from the heart, that, hasn't it? Like, he's admitted that it's a fact. And you would expect it to affect him, like it would if it was somebody like that you knew. And the way it happened as well. But it's good, it's good that he said that, like, because, it gets a little bit of, catharsis for him, like, to say, look, I've struggled a bit lately with, thinking about it.
Does this maybe not even tell you, this is just my perspective again, but does this not maybe tell you something deeper about why the squad is wobbling? Again, this isn't an excuse. It's just a saying of a reason as to why the squad is possibly like trying to, it's somewhat struggling a little bit at times to try to find its footing, because obviously this is really still on their mind. It's emotion, it's leadership, it's identity. All that matters when you're fighting the way we're fighting the season. And one of your former teammates, brothers, is not there with you, Yeah. Lee saying it's a huge thing, 12 clear and obvious. Yeah. I mean, you don't bring this kind of thing up if it's not weighing, if it's not on your mind and important enough for you to share.
No, it was it Ruben Neves, was it, who was crying like at the Club World Cup before his game, because he was quite good mates with Jota. I think it was Ruben Neves, used to play for Wolves. But it's just a horrible thing, wasn't it? Thankfully it's a rare thing, but it's just it was so shocking. Just out of the clear blue sky, like one of your players isn't here no more. Because, in that way.
I didn't hear about that, Norm. I did not hear about that. I'll bring that up in a second. Because I'm about to talk about Virgil, but I wanted to first talk about Agent Cody, a player that is often, it is incredibly interesting how Agent Cody, Mr. Cody Gakpo, is often, it's not that they're trying to disrespect the player, but it is somewhat disrespectful in some of the takes that people have on Cody, as if Cody is a one trick pony type situation, or one trick merchant, whatever you want to call it. But Cody Gakpo has 19. Let me repeat this. Cody Gakpo has 19 goals in 46 games. Like I said, I wanted to repeat it. 19 goals in 46 games for the Netherlands. Now, to me, that shows a player that obviously I understand that people are going to be like, oh, well, that's international play. That's not club play, blah, blah, blah. But he does score in club play too. The guy is a good, bona fide goal scorer. Big up, Michael Corleone. Big up, big up. Good to see you, my brother. Yeah, I understood too. Understood. Yeah, definitely. Michael Corleone is saying, oh, Cody does the pens also. It's not okay. It's still difficult to score. It's still difficult to score pens as well. It's still difficult to score. It's a lot of pressure on you because it's some might say it's a layup, but it's not. You know, if you miss it, then you have a lot of pressure on your back to not miss it, at least, I think. But he's a goal scorer all the same. He doesn't take pens for us, and he does score. He had 10 plus goals for us last year. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I know that he had plus 10 goals last year because I know him plus Diaz had equaled over 20 plus goals for us last year. They both had plus 10 goals last year for us. But do you think that Cody is sometimes undervalued, Lee?
Yeah, a little bit. I think so, yeah. I was predicting, like, not massive things from the season, but big things, like, as part of, a title defending team. So he's another player that, like Mo, and the rest of them, really, like, no one's, like, Sobers, like, you could probably pick out, couldn't you, this season, has really distinguished himself. Apart from that, nobody else has really done it. So I don't want to get on Cody's back too much either. We know all this thing about he likes to cut in and shoot or cross, but he's what we've got for now. Like, so we've got to still back him in his ability, and he can still get goals and assists for us this season. Our form's just got to get better. If we get back in the groove, like, and have a run of wins, we could see him and Mo getting on the score sheet, like. And that might wipe a few people's asses who think about, well, some people think Moses spent force. I think he's still got something in him for the rest of this season. And same with Cody. Like, Cody's a good bit younger than Mo, but, like, there's still a good player in there.
I think here's what Norm had to say, and I agree with Norm. I think that there's another level. There's another level waiting to be unlocked with Cody's game. He's saying, does anyone here feel like me with Cody, that there is something there waiting to explode, though he sees it, he has it. He says, it just get his head up quicker, in the sense of, like, I think that if we can figure out a way to get Cody, Cody was the guy who took a corner and gave that great assist from that corner in, I think it was the Frankfurt game.
Yeah.
There's parts about Cody's game that I would like to see be further developed. Him going to the bottom.
What I like sometimes is when he gets isolated on the wing, like with, say, the fullback, and he just knocks it past him, and he's so strong. His initial burst of pace is good, and he's so strong and that, like, and once he gets in front of the player, like, he can't, and then he's in on goal, basically. I like it when that happens, when we're breaking, because he is a good finisher. And he has, I think, he's got that. He's not like a fast player, but the initial burst of pace when he gets away from people, it's hard for them to get back at him, because he's also strong as well.
Yeah. And I think also people might underscore it or undervalue it because they're League Cup games, but he's one of our best scorers when it comes to the League Cups. When it comes to those domestic cups, he is like one of the top scorers in both league and
he's done his bit, like, hasn't he, scoring wise for a wide forward. He's not a centre forward, he's a wide forward. So I think he's done well goal scoring.
But that's what I do like about it, is that he can maybe expand the pitch for us, widen the pitch considering that he can start out wide and then he can cut in because he wants more space to be able to cut in for, He's not going to start in so close into central. He wants more space to be able to do what he needs to do to provide the separation and be able to get a shot off. I just think that sometimes he gets a little bit of a poor.
Well, the acquisition of the thing with Sobo playing so well, and like he's putting Wirtz out on the left, that's putting Cozy on the bench, isn't it? But I think in the long term, like over the longer part, the rest of the season, we will eventually see Wirtz there, and I would imagine it'd be Cozy on the left.
I agree with. Oh no! I'm sorry to cut your. Finish your statement. I'm sorry.
No, we've just got to wait a little bit, haven't we, with Wirtz for them to get properly into the flow of the Premier League games, and then once he does, we'll have him inside, and Cozy gets his place back. But at the moment, it's to accommodate Wirtz and Sobo, isn't it?
I just don't think. See, that's the thing about it. I don't want to see Wirtz on that left. Maybe that's also the reason why I'm picking up this Cody campaign, because I just think Cody's a better fit on the left side. I almost rather see Ekitike on the left than see Wirtz on the left, to be honest with you. Not because Wirtz isn't a good player. I just rather see Wirtz as that, central. I'd rather see him in more of the role that he plays for Germany, as a more of a central role.
Well, Hugo's by far my number one choice up front over Isak at the moment, because of Isak isn't properly fit, probably still, and he didn't get that many minutes for Sweden, did he? I don't believe.
I don't think he did.
Hugo's the player.
That many minutes. I can double check.
Hugo's the player for me who should be starting the upcoming games if we want to win them.
Yeah, I could double check, but I could also see that, I agree with what Norma said, though. I think that I'm not saying Cody is the perfect player. There's things about Cody's game that have to improve. Just like he was saying, keeping his head up, being able to visualize and see the pitch a little bit more, to be able to get some to improve his ability to provide assists, to get off passes. Because sometimes you can see when he cuts in, you automatically know there's a shot coming. There's no shot or pass, So you'd like to see that portion of his game be expanded to the point where, he keeps the defense guessing, as opposed to, he's cutting in. There's a shot that's going to be unleashed here. But Cody also has possibly one of the most the hardest shots that on our team. Actually, he has a cannon for a leg. But I also wanted to talk about, speaking of leadership. I also wanted to speak of what makes a captain. I know that there are some that don't necessarily believe in the ability of this individual's leadership capabilities or leadership qualities. Some of the content creators that are out there are a little bit more of agenda merchants rather than actual being particularly set to properly diagnosing, and giving the player credit. But all right, I'm just going to leave it there because I wanted to talk about Virgil here in this next little segment, because let me make something absolutely clear. The criticism of Virgil van Dijk's leadership this season, in my opinion, is nonsense. I think it's nonsense. He was captain of Netherlands long before he became captain of Liverpool. He obviously took on that role of captain whenever Hendo wasn't in the lineup. He was the captain because chances are, if Hendo wasn't in the lineup, Milner most likely wasn't starting. So the de facto leader, or when that case would happen, he would be the automatic selection as captain. Some of it is, I think, is agenda-driven nonsense. Some is lazy punditry, I believe, Twitter merchant drivel, noise for clicks. Because when the lights are brightest, when the pressure is highest, when the team needs calm, Virgil van Dijk steps forward more times than not. If the team needs someone to step up to take a penalty kick, he'll jump up and do it himself if necessary. But on Monday night in Orange, he made history. Most caps for Netherlands ever as a captain. 72 times wearing the armband. 88 appearances in total he's played, and he's had 72 of those times being captain.
It's impressive, that, isn't it, that he's broke the record?
And we're talking about Holland.
Yeah. I know all the good captains they've had, but
yeah, exactly.
None of them have ever lasted as long, did they? Before going out the team.
Exactly.
It's a great record.
Yeah. Hullet, you're talking about Van der Sar, talking about De Boer, I'm probably missing someone too. Cruff, right?
Yeah.
All those great legendary players all wore the armband, but not as many times as Virgil van Dijk. And somehow some fans think he should never be Liverpool captain, or he doesn't have captain ability. He's not a real leader. He's a good player, but he's not a real leader. Give me a break. I think the criticism is delusional because people will be like, he's not vocal enough. I see Virgil barking at anyone and everyone. He's barked at Ali, who's barked back. He's barked at Robbo, who has barked back too. Okay. He's barked at Trent when Trent played for our team. Anyone that he finds needs to hear it, he gives that vocal.
No, I'd imagine that it's an immense source of personal pride for him to be the most capped captain. And it's great, isn't it? It's a good thing for our mate. He's still our main man, really. Like the most important player we have, even at his age now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good thing anyway. I'm pleased about it.
I think that. Go ahead, finish first, Jay. Sorry.
We can get back to business rather than dropping more bloody points at the weekend.
It's really important.
We need to start off with a win, don't we? And try and get a run going.
It's really important. It's just, I just think of as leadership to me is consistency, composure, accountability, pressure management, raising levels of others, setting standards with when the team is collapsing or caving, wearing the pressure so others can play freely. Virgil, I think, has done all of that. Now there have been times when of course a player falls short. That's like any player. No player is perfect. But Liverpool's current problems, they are structural, they are systematic, they are tactical. They are not because Virgil van Dijk suddenly forgot how to lead.
I've still got enough hope that Arne can fix this, and return us to a side that's winning regularly. It's not easy for him, but I think he can still do this. We can turn it round, starting at the weekend.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I think when I'm being critical, I'm saying it because sometimes you'll hear these pundits like your Rooney's and the likes talk about his leadership or talk about his play and talk about, say some things that are out of line, I think personally. And they won't recognize the fact that he is the captain of a team that has seen their legendary gaffer leave and a new gaffer come, and he's still been the bridge, the glue of being the captain of that team. He's inherited a squad in transition in many ways now. It's not Klopp's machine, if you want to call it that, any
Do you
longer.
think we'll ever see him play the right-hand side of centre back
Get
for
Bastoni. If we get
Well,
Bastoni, maybe.
yeah, I've seen him doing it for Holland with Nathan Ake on
He did it for
left
Celtic.
centre back and Virgil right
He did
centre back.
He did it for Celtic when he played for Celtic.
Yeah, if we could
Played
have
on
a
the right
good
side.
enough, if we could have a good enough player, say left-footed, to give us that balance. Schlotterbeck's left-footed, isn't he?
Schlotterbeck. If we get Schlotterbeck, that's another player. Yeah, and I think that is a player that we might see. I'm gonna get into some roles for what we might be doing for the center half, because this is more of like a center half related conversation, to tell you the truth, because I know we're talking about our captain. I think he's the right captain. He's always been the right captain, and then he always will be the right captain, I believe, for this team, because he represents so much of what we need. I think people that often want to be like, oh, let's replace him with Damas Basalai, or we need to replace him with, I don't know, who, all these different other players. I'm just like, I think that they're not recognizing the importance.
I always like captains to be centre backs. That's the way it was when I was a kid. Every team, pretty much every single team in Division 1, the captain was a centre back. I mean, Virgil probably would have been captain earlier, but like when he came, there was guys like Milner and Henderson who'd been here for Henderson had been here ages when Virgil arrived, and Henderson was a good captain, but now it's been passed on to Virgil, and it suits him well. He is a leader because he does tend to lead by example, doesn't he, with his performances?
I'd love to see if we can bring in. I would love to see, and this is why I said earlier, I get that there are people out there that want to go for Semenyo, that want to go for Olise. Some want to go for both. That's like close to 200 million, let's say, in probably what you'd have to spend to get those players as a Liverpool Red. I honestly believe that if you had 200 million and we made a concerted effort to bring in Guehi on a free, bring in Schlotterbeck, and bring in Bastoni. Obviously, we keep Virgil van Dijk. And then maybe we get into possibly allowing for a certain player to either stay or go. And that's what I'm going to get into next. Konaté dilemma, the Ibu dilemma. Keep, let go, or maybe just evolve into another era of our defense. Because I'm going to say something that might shock people. Konaté can sometimes be one of the most confusing, I guess you could say, defenders Liverpool have had in the last 15 years. Like he's unstoppable one week. He's unstoppable one week. Unreliable the next. He's a monster in Europe. Then has miscommunication machine in the Premier League. He's injured. He's available. He's elite. He's erratic. He's like sometimes a paradox.
Yeah. For me, I'm desperate for us to buy a really good centre-back in January. Not someone who's just like a sort of a squad. Like buy someone straight in the team with Virgil. So, give or take, maybe a couple of games, whoever it is. But I'm desperate for us to do this and to find the right fella in January, because everyone knows we've got to have a signing at centre-back. We can't go till the end of the season with 3 centre-backs, can we? So I'm hoping it'll be someone good. I mean, I'd be quite flabbergasted if we didn't buy a centre-back in January, because we'd be taking the piss a bit, like, just like tempting fate. It's too much,
But the thing about it is his contract's expiring soon. We all know that. Real Madrid want him reportedly. He hasn't shut down those rumors. I mean, it's obvious and honestly why I understand why he's not doing that. But Liverpool want clarity. At least I want clarity. I'm sure you do too. So let's talk through some of the three. Let's talk about some of these different takes that I've heard, and some of these different takes that maybe which do you subscribe to? And maybe you have your own, but let me say this. So there's the pro Konaté view. Keep him at all costs, right? This argument says his ceiling is elite. He's only 26. Virgil's leaving in 2027, so we need continuity. You can't lose him for free. And Marc Guehi alone isn't enough. All valid points. Then you can take maybe the negative, right? You can say, let him go now. He's too inconsistent. He's too injury prone. Wrong timing for Liverpool's rebuild. There are better options. Van de Ven, Schlotterbeck, Guehi, Bastoni. Slot needs reliability, not chaos. Also valid. But then you might even have a neutral view. Try everything, but don't be held hostage. And that argument is try to keep him, but don't overpay him. Don't lose him for free. Only give up if he refuses clearly. Only let go once a replacement is secured. Probably the most Liverpool way you would think about it, possibly. What is, out of those three, which are yours? And I'll give you my own take. And it's controversial. I'm sure it's going to be a controversial take. But of those three, what do you think is the way to go forward? Because this contract offer, Lee, is supposedly the final offer we're going to give him.
If this is the final offer then, and we don't hear he's signed it pretty soon, for me, we've got to buy someone in January because we'll know he's not going to be part of the future. We can still use him, but just bring someone, because we're in a little bit of transition anyway, like, you know what I mean? If we don't win the league, we could blood a new centre-back alongside Virgil, as long as we get the right man. That's what we need to do. No cheapo options are that fine. You know, a good centre-back at a good age with a good amount of experience. You know, I don't want a young player who's not that experienced, who's like been good for about a season and a half. I prefer someone who's experienced and been playing, you know, someone like Schlotterbeck who's had like, you know, many seasons, like playing in Bundesliga and the Champions League. That'd be great.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Give him and Virgil a shout together, like as a partnership.
Well, that's okay. So just what you said, great segue to what I was about to try to bring in. Because look, I want Konaté to be professional. I want him to be someone that we can rely on. I want him someone to be valued and appreciated and all those different things. Certainly, if you're a Red, fantastic. Continue to support him. Continue to big up him and the whole likes. But my take right now is with the situation of him holding us somewhat hostage, doing very similar things that a certain right back did to this team. Okay. I don't know if Konaté is the partner Virgil needs right now. I know it's controversial, but it might not be. It might be just the unfortunate truth, because Virgil, we have 2 years left, a year and a half now left of Virgil's contract. This is obviously not obviously, but most likely the last extension we're going to see Virgil get with Liverpool. This is certainly possibly the last his last rodeo with Liverpool here, and we have to capitalize on these final years of one of the greatest center halves of the Premier League era. Virgil was 34 years old. He doesn't need to be covering for someone half the time. He needs dependability. He needs someone that's going to bring football intelligence to the pitch. He needs someone that's going to have positional discipline. He needs someone who lifts him up, not someone he has to lift himself at times.
Well,
Konaté is a spectacular individual defender. Let me repeat that. He's a spectacular individual defender. But Liverpool need a synchronized defender that works well with Virgil.
This is it. We want last season's Ibu, don't we? We want last season's Ibu with Virgil.
And that's the only reason, because I don't think that this version of Ibu is not the version we got from last year.
It isn't, is it? Not currently. He's got to sort that out. Or, as I said, we should be buying in January because we've only got 3. And for me, buy someone really, really good who's got a long-term. Well, when I say long-term, Virgil's got 18 months left. Someone who can partner Virgil for his last 18 months, a really good, experienced player to give Virgil the best, chance of,
Do you, if we could get a fee for Ibu, let's say we can go for Marc Guehi or Slotterbeck or I don't think we'll be able to go for Bastoni in January, but let's just say hypothetically we could. If we could get a replacement in for our team, would you be open to trying to say to Madrid, if you want Ibu now, come and get him, rather than let him go for a free? That's the primary thing I'm trying to emphasize.
Yeah, if we could identify the replacements, mind you, no, though, because it's the numbers in it. I mean, we can't go to the end of the season with 3 centre-halves. If we let him go in January, we'd be cutting our nose off to spite our face, wouldn't we, really? We've just got to buy as well in January. And as I said, I'd like it to be someone who actually replaces him. If this is the final contract offer and we don't hear nothing in the next couple of weeks, then for me, he's leaving. And we'll need replacing ASAP, not replacing in the summer, replacing in January, because we know, he's not going to be here in the future.
I mean, speaking of the future, let's talk about the next man who could define Liverpool's defensive identity for the next decade or so, maybe. That's Marc Guehi. This isn't just a transfer rumor anymore, obviously. We already know that we were very close to signing him in summertime. Crystal Palace, there's different reports of how their coach basically, pulled the plug on it or made demands that he stay. But this isn't a whimper. This isn't a maybe. This is more of a trajectory. And there are other teams trying to possibly get involved in discussions with the player as well. But Liverpool have tracked this player for quite some time. He passed when he's already coming for the medical. He's agreed to personal terms. He was ready to join, and then Palace panicked, and we couldn't because they couldn't find a secure replacement. I don't think Guehi staying with Palace was. I don't think it was a rejection. It was more of a delay. And now he's expected to leave in the summertime. Do you think, however, we should go for him? We should make an offer for him in January, because Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern, Inter, even Manchester United have all said that all rumored to be options for him.
Well, it was said that Glasner wasn't going to have him leaving in the summer, and I would imagine that it's still the same. Because it's only, halfway through the season. Glasner wouldn't be pleased, would they? They'd have to have a replacement lined up to go straight in. So it's probably going to be the summer. This is why I'm saying about, just buy someone as well. In the meantime, someone like Slotterbeck, maybe, give him a gamble, because he's a good player, played lots of Champions League, Bundesliga. He's played international football. Wouldn't be a bad shout.
I mean,
if we're going to buy a new centre back, we might as well buy a bloody good one.
No, I get that. There are some good ones out there.
We can buy younger ones then, in the future. But for now, I want that's one of the things that attracts me to Slotterbeck is experience. I mean, I like it when you get a really good young centre back at 21, 22, but you prefer them a bit older, because they're in their prime then when they're a bit older, and that's what Slotterbeck would be, as opposed to some of the others that have been mooted as transfers for us at centre back.
Yeah. Big up. Blessings to anyone doing that. We were just talking. Pavan is talking about he'll be feeding the homeless within his community in Bedford. Big up to that as well. One love for sure. We were just talking about the homeless. There's a homeless World Cup actually. I don't know if you guys have ever seen or heard about the homeless World Cup, but it's something that having just found out about it, it's something that I'm going to look at more actively to try to get involved with or support or contribute to in one way or another. It sounds like a super noble. I haven't seen it in play, but I've seen there's a couple movies and there's a couple different takes on it. Yeah. So if you ever heard of it, or if you ever get a chance to look it up online, look up Homeless World Cup. Actually sounds like a very noble cause as well. But back to what we were just talking about. I'm
missing Joel Matip. I thought Matip was Virgil's best partner since Virgil's been here. I think you're right about that. Their games complement each other well.
I'd make an argument to say Joey G has been his best partner, but I can also Matip was a natural selection.
I prefer Matip and Virgil. Yeah, I thought the blend was good. I thought that's when we looked at our best defensively under Klopp. I thought, and Fabinho in front of them, we were so solid for ages. Joe as well. But I liked, Matip would run into midfield, wouldn't he? But he'd run to the edge of the box and try and play a 1-2 sometimes. I thought that last injury that done him in. He started the season as our best defender. He was playing better than anyone, in defence, and then that bloody injury. He got the own goal, didn't he? Terribly unlucky own goal against Spurs, and then was it the next match or something? He got that bad injury, and that was the end of him.
Bring back Ozan Kabak, yeah. I remember. I remember Kabak was one of the times he was trying to track back. He was trying to get back on defense, and he started doing the Terminator run, where he made his hands pull like that so he could be more aerodynamic. I was like, oh, bless his heart. That's I love it. I love the effort. But yeah. Anyways, he did his part too.
The injuries, Matip could possibly still be playing if it wasn't for the injuries. It was only about 18 months ago, wasn't it? Or some shit 2 years ago when he got injured. What was he, 33 at the time, or 34? He could possibly have went on, couldn't he, a couple of years?
Yeah, but I think getting Guehi could be one of the biggest steals for us in the transfer market, because let me break this down clearly. Liverpool would pay obviously nothing in the transfer fee if we got him in the summertime. That would be not like the 60 million pounds that Newcastle offered for him. It would be it wouldn't be like the 50 million pounds that Palace wanted for him in 2023. It would also be not even the 35 million pounds that we agreed to offer for him last summer. Guehi is the second highest second highest rated center back in the Premier League this season. The second highest in the Premier League. Saliba, Gabriel, even Virgil are lower ranked than Guehi. And I'll even say this, Konaté's not even top 20. That's great. That's crazy. This is the top 3 center back in the league right now that we can enter into our lineup. 6 foot, elite aerial timing, reads the game better than most center backs his age, calm under pressure, scans like a midfield, steps into midfield lines naturally, plays both sides of a pairing, England starter, playoff tested. Obviously, he's won some big games lately or been a part of some big games for his club. Premier League proven, that's I know is super, super important. Those rankings are from Foot Mob, FOT Mob. Here, I'll put it in there. I'll put it in there for you. Whoops. That's the source for those stats. But and I'll even I don't have the who's number 1 off the top of my head, so I'll look it up. One second, I'm looking up. I'm doing something here so I can get something for my guy Pops. Pull up here. Trying to find it, at least. It's not as easy to find it. I have to look in my notes. I have it in my notes. But let me see who. 1 second. All right, let's see. Anyways, I'll get back to what I was saying while I look this up here. I think that I think he's a good choice. I personally would rather see Bastoni. Everyone knows that. I think Schlotterbeck is a close second. I will openly admit Guehi is my third choice out of the center halves that we have offered. But that's not saying that he's not an excellent choice to be the heir apparent, if not the future partner of Virgil van Dijk. Do you have a different rankings? Do you have a favorite, Lee?
Probably Schlotterbeck, if we could get him. If we say, I mean, he's a more high-profile target than that, and won't be as simple as just saying, "Look, we want him now," and getting him. But if we could offer them a package attractive enough, they could cash in on him maybe. And he'd be a good experienced player, wouldn't he, to partner Virgil, I think. But apart from that, I mean, there's who else been mentioned? Ordonez of Bruges been mentioned, hasn't he? Remember, who else is there? Can you think now that we've been linked with, apart from Guehi recently?
Mm-hmm. I'm still looking for that. I'm trying to find it real quick. I can't find it. I'll get it to you. I'll get you who's number 1. But
there's one Diamande. Armchair's putting Diamande. Is it possible? But, he's got like a bit more. He's got quite a bit of experience now, Diamande. So he might be a bad shout. Like, is he? Because if Ibu's not signing his contract, then
it's understandable. I mean, Guehi isn't the only defender out there that Liverpool are lined up in possibly going after. There's a name some fans forgot, until today. And this is why it was a weird article that I saw. Okay. But you know who we are possibly interested in going for?
No.
You're not going to understand. I don't know what. You can laugh with me, I guess, a little bit in the chat. I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot of people laugh or say I'm crazy.
Astound and amaze us. Go on, who is it?
So I'll tell you something wild, and barely anyone knows this yet. But when Liverpool sold Jarell Quansah to Leverkusen this summer, that wasn't a complete goodbye. It could have been maybe a chess move, a development move, let's call it. A strategic loan disguised as a sale. Because here's the truth. Liverpool inserted a £70 million buyback clause into that deal. And they pre-agreed to a contract with Quansah if the clause is activated. So let me repeat this. I know that I just saw the numbers just pop up. There's some just joining us. Big up to those that are just joining us. Let me repeat this. A pre-agreed contract, which means if Liverpool decide they want him back, he comes back. There's no working out terms or anything like that. Terms are already done. No drama, no bidding war, no negotiations, no rival clubs interfering. Just trigger it, pack your bags, get on the plane. You're a Red once again.
Well, the problem here is the immediacy of it. Like Leverkusen are a big enough club, recently champions and shit. Like to just let someone go straight away in the January.
No, it doesn't. It wouldn't matter. Once again, it's a release clause. So that's why it's a release clause. And
I don't know, but it would be sort of bad behaviour in a way towards them from us, wouldn't it?
I agree. You could say that, but considering I think so. I get people. I saw Pops just say 70 million. He had the eye emoji on that one. Why I thought this was interesting, because Richard Hughes, this is why Hughes and Edwards, why they are brought back and why they're so coveted by some. Look, he was playing the long game when he made this deal. Quansah's 21, he's Premier League proven, but he's homegrown. He has passing ability, he's strong in duels. He's a good slot player. I don't know why Slot gave up on him so quickly. And then you could say, no, there's no script better. If Guehi arrives and Quansah returns and Virgil stays until 2027, you have a pretty decent core of center backs now with Guehi, Quansah, Leone, as in that could be the core. Maybe even Gomez sticks around. Young, athletic, balanced, sustainable. But the reason why it's possibly the 70 million sounds like a lot. In essence, they spent 35 million to buy him from us. And then to get him back, it will cost us an additional 35 million. So in essence, we will have just done, which is a weird way of going about it. I'm not saying it isn't. But in essence, what we will have done is allow for Quansah to leave on a glorified loan deal where we end up spending 35 million to get back a player that has proven himself by developing into a more tempered and understanding player, maybe more mature player without the rigors of Liverpool weighing on his back. We all know he was getting into some issues and problems with some internet improvisers or some internet what do you call them, influencers, excuse me, but that's what it is. It's a weird one though. You gotta admit, I admit that it's a weird situation. but that's one of the options. Would you say no?
Well, we're struggling in that position, aren't we? Like, so it's just being so soon after letting him go there.
Right.
He didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave. Like, the club thought it was a good deal, didn't he? But I suppose it's a shout, isn't it? Because it's another player. I mean, I do like the idea of Schlotterbeck, or Diamand, they say, even players with a good bit of experience. So Virgil's last 18 months, he's got a good experienced partner alongside him. Because obviously, if Ibu ain't signing up and that's the last offer, I think we should bench him. Still use and play him in some games, but get Virgil's new partner on the go.
I think I wouldn't mind see. I mean, it's interesting. It would be an interesting deal. I know Quansah really did want to make a run with it here with Liverpool. Obviously, if the player already pre-agreed to a deal, you know what I mean. He obviously is open to returning, and he was probably utilizing and set upon making the most of his development in Germany to get his way back to the Premier League.
I think what the deal is basically is giving him a couple of seasons in the Bundesliga, and if he emerges like in about 2-3 seasons time as like a real top defender in the Bundesliga, we could trigger it then. But so soon, it's just unlikely for me that we'd get him back really quickly. I think we need to go and buy somebody new, somebody different, a new centre back, because we need a couple of centre backs, don't we? Like, even fingers crossed when Leone's fit again. Virgil's in his last 18 months. Konaté, we don't know if he's going to sign the contract. Joe Gomez, still dependable player, but it's the fitness issues. So we really do need to sort of reinvigorate the centre back position, don't we? Like, sort of give it a little update to because it needs it, doesn't it? It needs it now. You can't say it doesn't. It's become a bit concerning now, hasn't it? With the way we've been playing and that.
Yeah, Pops was just saying, curiously, why is VVQ, Quansah, why is Quansah ahead of Trent in the England pecking order? Is he playing at right back now? He has played at right back for us on occasion. I do not have an answer for that one. I'd have to look more deeply into that.
Tuchel obviously looking for a more defensive fullback in that game. And he can get forward quite well as well. Like, but I think that's one for the future. Maybe bringing him back, in a few seasons' time, if he really emerges as a top performer in the Bundesliga. But
so you're saying that you don't think that we have enough of a need at currently to go and trying to reacquire him in January. Apparently, Slot wants to bring in 2 center backs. Basically, that's apparently what it is.
Yeah. Well, we do need 2 centre backs. I would imagine Guehi will be one next summer, but in the meantime, we have to buy someone, don't we?
I mean, because Liverpool want a top defender potentially in January, and an easy way to acquire that would be just to trigger the transfer clause that we already have in there. That was just at least one direction.
Yeah, for all we know, the club have already got a leading candidate lined up and are ready to do a deal for somebody, for all we know. But we're not going to find out, are we, until it's January? What have we got now? About 6 weeks or something?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's some big names that have been looking at possibly getting extensions. I know that Damis Boslai is a name. McAllister is a name that's been thrown out there as to being possibly worked on getting an extension for him. But a name that might make some happy. It might not make his this one might not make his agent really that much happy, considering he's not always, but has been in the media sometimes spouting about a certain player's interest in Real Madrid. But the big midfield news is that Ryan Gravenberch is close to signing a new contract that will have him be a Liverpool Red until 2030 or possibly even 2031. He rejected Saudi last summer. He wants Liverpool. He wants to play for Slot, and he wants to be a part of the midfield core. Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch is currently our midfield core. If not, you could possibly put in McAllister, take out McAllister and put in Wirtz if you want to put it that way. But this is a serious trio for the next 5 years that you could see be our midfield. And Liverpool locking him down means stability, continuity, tactical identity. It means long-term planning. It means protecting value. You know, if he does want to go to Real Madrid, or Real Madrid does come knocking, has Gravenberch quietly been one of Liverpool's most important players this season, despite all the chaos, do you think?
Probably. He's one of the main players, isn't he, along with Virgil, that we need to be anything like a decent side. We can't really do without him. We haven't got a sub for him, have we? Like when he's not playing.
If we do extend his contract, and this is for the chat too. We got Pops in the chat, hopefully still. Got Norm, big up to MM, Mickey. Big up to Mickey M. This is a question for all you in the chat. Andy, everyone in there that has been rocking with us, Red Armchair Supporter. If we are to extend Gravenberch, let's say, and we're looking at getting Dom extended. Let's say we extend Dom, Grav, and Maka. Okay? Hypothetically, we extend that. Do you think that that's going to limit our interest in bringing in a Baleba and Wharton, or bringing in one, if not two, more so two DMs or two midfielders to even further solidify that midfield?
Yeah, we need signings, don't we? In midfield as well as centre back. There's a few candidates, isn't there? But it's something he's got to look at, because the midfield, like when, say, Gravenberch is missing, or even when McAllister's missing, it's not good enough for me. Them two have to play together, like, all the time for me in midfield. And whoever's in front of them, like Szoboszlai or Wirtz, it'd be Szoboszlai for now, the way he's playing. But later in the season, hopefully Wirtz will be in ahead of the pair of them. But we need signings long term, don't we? In central midfield, a defensive midfielder, someone who can come in. He doesn't seem to want to play Endo very much as a rotation option in midfield. I think he got used to centre back more last season than midfield Endo in his minutes. So yeah, it'll probably happen, won't it? I would imagine it'll happen at some point.
There was a South American center half. What was his name again?
The Colombian fella, John Lucchini.
Yeah.
plays for Bologna. Apparently, he was man of the match in the Italian Cup final. Yeah,
I think that's who you're talking about now. Oh, he's saying Dennis. I don't know that one.
Okay, Odens. Ordonez. Yeah, Ordonez plays for Bruges, doesn't he? I think he's South American.
Oh yeah, the Club Bruges. Yeah.
That's a more recent link than John Luke Amy was ages ago. That link when Diaz was still here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the chat is saying basically. Let me see. Pops is saying, I don't think so because we wanted Zubi and we never bought a replacement, and Endo won't be here beyond this season. In his opinion, I agree with that one too. I think this is Endo's last year with the club. So there will be spots available. That's his guess. He says it wasn't Ordonez. I guess he is the lad Chelsea just got. Okay. But there is a Club Bruges center back that Liverpool are interested in. It is Joel Ordonez. That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 21-year-old center back from Club Bruges. Joel Ordonez. And let's see. He read. Norm just said that too. Pops is saying he's very frustrated that after winning the Prem and being 11 games into the season, we are spending so much time talking about new signings. It's crazy to him, especially after spending so heavily. I'm with you on that, Pops. It's very disappointing, considering that we obviously had a good enough core of players to win us a Prem. I'm not saying that we couldn't refortify or enhance the players by bringing in new players. We certainly did, and I'm certainly cool with the names that we brought in. But it is somewhat puzzling that here we are in November going into December, and we're still talking about spending another $200-300 million in January. That's on some Chelsea settings. That's why it's frustrating to me. What else is being said? I think I saw that Mickey M wants Maka to play up further. He thinks we're wasting him in the role that he's playing for us currently. What else? There was some the Red Hunter supporter said something too. Let me see if I can find his comment. And it was something about who he would like to see, I believe. I thought he said one. He says no, it might have an effect on Endo though. So, okay. He thinks that the signing of Grav might be the last hurrah for Endo being on our club.
Well, we've hardly seen him, have we, so far this season?
Yeah. But we haven't seen a lot of players in roles or in minutes on the pitch that we would expect to see. But I'll tell you this much. We've certainly seen players get more minutes than they did last season. Last season, you saw pretty much the same lineups for the first 2 months, practically, with maybe one or two tweaks. The tweak when we saw against Leverkusen and the tweak to the lineup that we saw against City. And then even after that, we kind of reverted back to the normal 4-2-3-1 that we've been going through. Where is Rio? Where is Chiesa? Where is Trey? That's what I'm. You know what? You're right about that. You're absolutely right about that, Pops. It's like we need other players to play. Well, we have players in the reserves. Why aren't they getting the minutes? Absolutely. It's a lot to put on the shoulders of, two young men like Trey and Rio to expect them to step up and, provide senior minutes, but it's not impossible. They can make contributions all the same.
We're just waiting for Vert to click out. When he does, we'll be in much better shape. Linking up with Hugo and Isaac, and it's going to come eventually. I think maybe for now, this upcoming run of games, do the same thing where you go with last season's midfield. Danbridge, McAllister and Szoboszlai. You can put Wirt out on the left or drop him for Cozy. Salah would be a good substitute if Chiesa started and Salah was a sub. Because remember when he come on as a sub against Rangers and scored, he got a hat-trick in about 5 minutes, didn't he? As a sub. We've never had him as a sub.
If we went with a diamond, hypothetically, I'm just thinking this spitballing here. If we went with a diamond in a 4-4-2, and we had Verts in a 10 role, right? Obviously, would you be against? And I know maybe some people are going to say because he's not fast enough or this and that, but you might be able to provide the coverage by having two quick right and left midfielders. Would you be against Dom and Grav being right and left-sided midfielders and having Maka as that DM? And he could be like a regista. You don't have to push up. He wouldn't have to push up as far. You can just keep him as a regista, and he just, becomes, because I think Maka has
to try and
building.
We know these players can perform like last season and go on and win and run, to win games in a row, but we've just got to get there now. And for me, I will go back to sort of last season's formula in midfield, and not play Wirtz in the 7 for now, in the 10 for now, but play Szoboszlai, and I keep playing Wirtz though on the left with Hugo up front. And then really, it's got to be Mo, but Chiesa should be knocking on his door really loudly for a start now. The whole team's got to play better, hasn't it? I mean, for now, Hugo's the one we want to be picking up front because he's fitter, isn't he, than Isaac is at the moment. But once Isaac and Wirtz get into the swing of things, which the two, the good players, too good of players to not eventually settle in and be good for us. We haven't bought crap, we bought real quality there. It just takes time sometimes. Yeah,
people are going up or again, this is just spitballing. I'm just discussing things live. People are against the whole Maka in the 6. I mean, he has played in a 6 role before. Obviously, is in a pivot more so than just a lone 6. But people are saying, I would love to see Bajcetic come back.
I was a big fan of Bajcetic. It was sad what happened to him with the injuries. He was doing well last season in the Liga for Las Palmas, because I kept seeing a few articles in the Liverpool Echo saying he was getting good reviews and Villarreal were thinking of buying him, or wanting him on loan, I think. But then he got that injury, didn't he? But he looked such a good player under Klopp when he come in, didn't he? And he got quite a substantial bit of action. It's a while ago now. It's what is it?
It's been almost too long, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
people have definitely forgotten.
He was good defensively and neat and tidy on the ball, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Pops is saying he doesn't think Maka works in the 6.
No, he's too slow for me.
He says, why not put Grav in the 6 and tell him focus more on holding than scoring. I think, like, for some reason, I don't know. Like,
that's what I mean.
Unless people are comfortable with,
scrap this Ryan getting forward a lot more.
I get that
now and just go back to basics of what won us the league last season.
I get that, but that's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna emphasize, the fact that I think Grav has it in his head that whether and his dad talked about it, and the likes, like, hey, he's got the license to go forward and get involved offensively. So he's making the most of it. And sometimes getting called out is going to be a part of that. So I agree with you. I would prefer just having Dom and Grav in a pivot together. And if one goes forward, the other holds back. If the other goes, it's like, you go forward, cool, I'll hold it down. Vice versa. If the other goes forward, the other holds it down. That way, at least we have some type of coverage. But and they have enough, and then both of them have enough quickness and pace to recover if necessary. But again, I am not unfortunately being able to give all of the advice to Slot and our team's roles. Mika M is saying, Mickey is saying, I can't let go of hoping for Bajcetic. He was so good when he played, but left alone when Ginny, Fab, and Hendo all ran out of power.
Well, it was only last season that he was doing really well in La Liga. For the struggling side, he was getting good reviews. So Arne will know this. Like, if there may be a chance of seeing him, who knows? I think it'd probably, we'd see him as a sub maybe a couple of times if he did come back into the fold. But yeah.
Pops is saying, irony here is Grav was an 8 before, and those with the agenda said he was misprofiled. He went to the 6 and we won. Now all of a sudden he is that 8 again. Look, I didn't say it was misprofiled. I'm not going to go as far as to say that. I am going to say when we had a need for a 6, there was a moment when we had a need, especially before we end up bringing in Endo or utilizing Endo too. But when we had a need for a 6, I had my frame of thinking was I saw Gravenberg go box to box the way that Matip goes from box to box. It's something I would like to see Ibu do more often. And I know you're not necessarily calling me out as someone that said he was misprofiled, but I definitely thought that I was definitely one of those early shouters of let's try him in the 6, primarily because there was too much of a logjam to get him in as an 8. At that time, Elliott, Dom, there was Maka. Like, I just thought that they were, even Curtis Jones could be argued, were ahead of him in the pecking order of being called into service as an 8 for us at that time. I'm not saying that not saying any of them are better than Grav or this or that. I'm not trying to make that excursion, but I thought that we could utilize a 6. And I wanted to see a 6. I was hoping and trying to find out a 6 for us, basically, at that moment. He says, I only said that because of the system you set up in the double pivot. He's good with him and Dom trading places and attacking and defending in tandem. That's what I want to see, to tell you the truth. I just want to see them work together as, like, I don't know who's going to be Batman and who's going to be Robin, but I want to see them work together in the midfield as a tandem. And I think it would still provide us the legs that we need, but also provide us with the ability to go forward, the ability to defend, the ability to recover, all those different things. I think that would be important. And then you can possibly even by having those two as a tandem, I personally because I remember Pops asked me this question on Enza's show about the formation I was going to do when I was saying I wanted Robbo to play, for instance. I personally would like to see Verts as our 10, and I would personally like to see Maka as the backup to that 10. That's just my opinion, though. We need some fight in the middle of the park. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Let me go through some of these rumors that are hitting the airwaves before we wrap up this episode and before the rain hits here. Apparently, I'm about to get a nice little thunderstorm here pretty soon. So let's rapid fire the rumors across Europe, because Liverpool are involved in some of them, or maybe all of them, good number of them at least. Pep Guardiola apparently wants Saeed El Mala from Cologne, 19-year-old electric winger. City are said to be in the market for him. I don't know too much about the player, to be honest with you. Have you seen or know who I'm talking about by any chance, Lee?
No. What's the name again?
His name is Saeed El Mala, M-A-L-A.
No.
He's apparently wanted by Bayern. He oh goodness.
Centre back.
No, he's a winger. He's a winger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Big up, Trudon. He's a winger. Apparently Bayern won him, Dortmund won him. Cologne want 40 million euros for him. Mm-hmm. So apparently this kid is something special.
What nationality is he?
Should Liverpool?
What's his international team?
It looks like a mad duck. He is a right winger. Okay. If he's a right winger, should we maybe not be looking at the player too?
It depends what type of right winger it is. I guess. Is he a left-footed right winger? Is he the right winger?
Just wondering.
Is he a right winger? A real right winger?
I mean, if he's good enough for City, he's certainly good enough for Liverpool, most likely. There is a Semenyo update. Everyone knows that Liverpool would like to possibly pursue him. He does have a release clause that is active in January. It drops in the summer. And yes, Ghana are missing AFCON. I'm sorry to say that to some of our brothers from Ghana. But Nalante and Quasi, and others. But it also means that if Ghana's not going to be in AFCON, it means he'll be available during, December and January. Well, obviously we won't be able to get him in December, but in January. So the real headline is Liverpool are monitoring him. But I think the bigger headline is apparently we're not prioritizing him. And I think that's good. I don't think that he should be a priority. I really don't. I think he's a good player. I think he'd be a fantastic addition, but I don't think we should prioritize him. There has been an Elliot Anderson evaluation of £100 million. Apparently, Manchester United want him. Newcastle wants him back. Forest say no in January. So, good player. Could you really pay £100 million for Elliot Anderson? Would you go for that, Lee? No, yes. But I think Lee's taking a break. That's crazy. 100 million. Yep, you heard me right. 100. I know. Everyone's saying, no way. It's the state of the market these days, my brothers and sisters out there. It is the state of the market. Elliot Anderson has £100 million evaluation being placed on his head. And yeah, I don't know if it's because Manchester United want him. I don't know if it's because Newcastle want him. They're definitely not getting it out of Newcastle, but maybe they figure Newcastle's got some money in their pockets, so now they can spend it and maybe ship it over to them. That's just ridiculous, though. Absolutely ridiculous. Bayern's shopping list apparently is full of players. Bayern is looking at Schlotterbeck. They're looking at Guehi. They're looking at Vlahovic. They're looking at Asliani, Fisnik Asliani. They're looking at Nathan Decat. They're looking at Saeed El Mala. I don't know what Bayern is doing necessarily. Bayern is absolutely running away with the Bundesliga right now. They're doing well, exceptionally well in Champions League as well. I wouldn't go as far as to say these are panic buys. I don't know what Bayern is necessarily doing with their transfer strategy. 80 million for his for him is new kind of crazy. Yeah, it is, Dustin. Shout out to Dustin, by the way. Big up. Red Armchair Support says maybe half that, if that, maybe most likely. 50 million is still quite a bit for Elliot Anderson.
For me, it is unlikely that we buy, another forward in January, because it's, the pressing need is in other positions, isn't it? Quite clearly. The centre back position, where we need numbers, we need more numbers, but also midfielder as well. I think a lot of people want, don't they? So after spending the money we did, like on the full-back positions and the couple of forwards and verts, we've got to complete the job. You know what I mean? Make us strong in all positions, so go forward and try and win more titles.
Let me think of what it is. So that 100 million is for Elliot Anderson, Pops. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
If I'm honest, out of all the midfielders that have been mooted that we potentially might want.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Yeah, there's no, my fault. Pop, no worries about asking. I'll tell you this, because I believe Mendes is his agent, I believe. He's Jorge Mendes is a football agent.
Yeah.
And you think some of these numbers are crazy? Listen to this number. So apparently, Adeyemi, right? Good player. Good player. I don't know if I wouldn't go as far as Karim Adeyemi is not necessarily. It's a weird situation with him. He's had his ups and his downs with his career. For me, not consistent enough. But why I'm bringing up this player is because you're just talking about 100 million for Elliot Anderson. Well, apparently, Adeyemi is in contract talks, and they have apparently stalled. And you would be like, well, why are they stalling? Because, Mendes is trying to utilize the leverage of Manchester United being interested in the player. Some of these other teams that could be offering for his services. Well, why Dortmund sweating it out a little bit? Why that is funny is because of this. Apparently, his contract negotiations have gone to the point where Jorge Mendes is reportedly demanding a salary for Karim Adeyemi of more than 600,000 euros a month.
That's a lot of money.
600,000 a month. I guess there's no harm in asking, but oh my goodness. That's what he's, and this is what he's asking Dortmund. That's the offer he is offered to Dortmund for his client.
You've got to admire the balls on the guy to say that, haven't you? If that's coming from the agent, like, I demand this 600 grand a month.
Yeah. He's also, not only is he saying pay my client 600,000 euros a month, he's also saying put a release clause into the contract too, just in case Manchester United wants to come and be enter the party.
That's it. Is it like weekly or monthly? Because monthly that isn't like too much, but weekly that's a lot. 600,000.
600, yeah, 600,000. It's a month. It's a month. That's still what 150. That's still 150,000 150,000 euros a month or a week.
Okay, that sounds more like it, more in the range, sensible. Well, it's interesting. We definitely need to, finish the job we started in the summer with revamping the squad. We didn't spend all that money on the players we bought, for no reason. We did it to try and I don't want to use the word dominate, but try to dominate, and take over from where City were in winning the most titles, over the little periods. But I haven't give up on that yet. The players we've got, once they do click, and with a couple of additions, we can be as good as Arsenal easily. We can be better than City again.
Yeah.
And the rest of them. We just got to get our shit sorted and return to the sort of form that we had last season. We've got the same bastard players, more or less. Well, now there are a few changes, but the core of the team's still there, isn't it, from last season? Virgil, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, and we won the title, didn't we? Quite, in style. I wouldn't sort of had a canter, wasn't it? Once we hit the front last season, we never looked back, did we? We never looked likely at any point to drop off top spot in the entire season.
Well, let me give this before we bounce out of here. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. Let me add this. So yesterday we did some stuff over the international, connecting the international break or international teams and everything like that. So we were stuck with the conundrum of trying to figure out who we're going to put next to Ronaldo up front. So we kind of took the easy way out and dropped the player. Well, this is behind backstage at least. We went and dropped him back. This is the lineup that we finally came up with as our it's a 4-2-3-1, or if you want to call it a 4-5-1. This is the lineup that we went with. This is the lineup that we ended up. This was from basically 1980 to present, basically. From the 80s to the present, basically. So nearly 50 years of international play is being represented here. And I will admit I was a little cheeky and got Stevie G in there, even though originally we weren't going to do it. And then I even dropped in Messi as well, so we could have the Argentinians as the wingers. But that was the team that we pretty much settled on. Pretty good team, though. Pretty good team. That team would cook, I think, just a little bit.
Yeah.
If you guys have your own teams that you wanted to do or you want to have included in the conversation, or at least be recognized, definitely bring them into the comment section. We did, again, like I said, we did one yesterday. That was a lot of fun. That was the final product of yesterday. We dropped Noor out and put in Casilla, as you could see as well. But look, my Reds, this club is in the middle of a storm, a season of chaos, season of questions, a season where the old foundations have cracked and the new ones are just being poured into their settings. But look at what we saw this week. We saw Robbo, sobbing for a fallen friend, leading his nation to the World Cup. We saw Virgil breaking a national record and reminding the world, what leadership looks like. We saw Cody shining again. We saw Verts creating at world-class levels. Gravenberg didn't play in that game, but he might be on the verge of choosing Liverpool to stay with Liverpool over possible extensions elsewhere. We have Bradley captaining his nation at 20. We have Rio and Trey. The future may be arriving a little early. This club has heart. This club has leaders. This club has future stars. This club has a rebuild coming that could define the next decade, and I'm hoping that we can stick with them while it occurs. We are bruised but not broken, confused but not lost, hurting but not collapsing.
Yeah, they still know how to win. We just got to do it. Now in the coming weeks, we need some good performances. We need Arne and his coaches to get this shit sorted, and identify what's gone wrong, put it right, and get the season back on track.
No, look, Liverpool's next era is coming, my friends, my Reds, my family out there. Brick by brick, transfer by transfer, performance by performance. We'll walk through every step together. And here on the Liverpool 12-Man Show, with the likes of myself, with Lee, with JK, with Nalante, even if the Irishman has time to join us on the channel, he's always part of the family. We're all here together.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it? Not beyond the realms of possibility that we can play ourselves back into the title race.
Absolutely. There's things that are going to happen this season, people. Look, Arsenal have an incredibly difficult next set of games in front of them.
It would be funny if they were in front for most of the season and then we went ahead of them in
it's happened to us before. So that's why, if things like this have happened to us, and we could honestly say that we have more promise and reserve to get over the line than an Arsenal. If it's happened to us before, why can we not envision it happening to those that sit in front of us currently now? Arsenal, again, they just got an update on Gabriel. Apparently, Gabriel is going to be out for a month to all the way up to possibly 2 months. So December, where there's
bad news for Gabriel and Arsenal, isn't it?
Exactly.
He's a big player for them. He's very important for them. They have got a lot of options though back there, haven't they? They've got so many central.
They've got options, but Gabriel, let's be honest with you, that would be like it would be like us losing maybe. I think Gabriel has played better than Saliba this year, to be honest with you.
Mm.
And if that's the case, then that would be like losing Virgil, for in our case, maybe if not losing an Ibu, for our case, one or the other. Pick who you want to pick, but that's the truth of the matter, is that those two players are important for their back line, and now they're going to have to get through the struggles and process of getting through without one of their cornerstones in their defense. I'm not saying it's going to be a catastrophe. I'm not saying that they'll fall apart. But what I am saying is they're going to have to figure out how to hold up the tent without one of its posts being a part of it. And City, I don't know when the Premier League are going to announce this verdict. I don't even know if the verdict's even happened. But that verdict has to be looming to be dropped at some point. There was rumors it was going to be dropped in this last international break. And it wasn't. So does that mean it's going to be dropped during January? Does it mean that is it going to be held off until the summer? Or maybe even the next international break during international breaks during the spring. There has to be some point when you finally rip this Band-Aid off and tell the people what the final verdict is on these 100 and this. I know people think it's 115, but actually 130 counts. We have to see that. And that could have a serious impact on City. But primarily, I'm looking past both of those teams, and the thing I'm focused on is red. The thing I'm focused on is we need to make a real concerted effort to put the pressure on everyone to keep pace with us. We need to win these next couple of games. We need to go on a serious win streak and really start to put together the bricks and mortar that has been our foundation. And that is Anfield as a fortress and going on the road and being formidable on the road. This is
we gotta get our away form sorted. Our away form's terrible. That's what's got to change. If we can get a couple of wins here, like start with a win against Forest, get one against PSV, which we should be able to beat PSV. But anyway, it's West Ham away then, isn't it? And we've got to get our shit sorted away from home because we saw like really like weak performances, haven't we? Like lukewarm performances at best away from home so far, and that's got to change. Or we'll be staying back in the table. Like I think we can. I think we can get our away form sorted.
Look, people. If you are a part of our fantasy league, even if you're not, you can always join. It's never too late, especially if you already have a team together, maybe in another league or something like that. You can always join our league as well. But be sure to get your team set. I know you didn't have to do it last week because we had an international break, but it is coming up. I just saw Red Armchair supporter talking about sell Gabriel. Yes, it is coming up. Fantasy football is going to be back in a full effect, so you definitely want to get those teams picked and those transfers made. And finally, but not least, let me say, please, as fellow Reds, definitely continue to support each other. We have standards. I really do believe in them. I believe in the unity that we are supposed to have amongst our fan base. It's something that's important to me. Hopefully it's important to you. And we want to reestablish that identity, which is, a vibrant community. And as always, my friends, my family out there, my Reds family out there, you'll never walk alone should be held to the heart dearly and truly. So I hope everyone continues to do well. I hope that I see you guys tomorrow. I think what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to do a preview and do some other news as well. So please definitely join us tomorrow. You'll hear some of the things that I believe, since we'll probably be we'll get closer to the weekend, we'll be closer to knowing who's in the camp and the likes. We heard about Isak returning and the likes. He's 100% ready to rock and roll. So with that said, I am going to tell you all, up the Reds each and every time. And big up to Lee for joining us. Stick around, Lee, too. And we will see you tomorrow. Peace.